Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Agam Vakil, and what a day it has been. The Nifty and the Sensex surging, marching ahead towards uncharted territory. And for now, we've seen a surge of another 111 points on the Nifty. How has this week turned out? Well, surprisingly, it is your underperformers like UPL and ITC have actually led the gains, leading the Nifty to gain as much as 2.5% through the course of the week, followed by ICICI Bank and Indiabulls Housing Finance. Who would have guessed? On the losing end, we have, well, the two-wheelers down by as much as 5.5% each, followed by Yes Bank and HCL Technologies. But as you can see, the gains coming in from some very unusual names. But moving in, let's also take a look at the broader markets, and Sri Renuka Sugars stands right at the top, followed by Inox Wind and Vijaya Bank. Again, some surprising names in the NSE 500 as well. So Sensex Plastics, Prism Johnson's, as well as Dilip Bilkon advancing in trade through the course of the week. And on the losing end, you will have the likes of South Indian Bank, well, bearing the brunt of the earnings coming through, 8K Miles because of, well, some concerns, and of course Symphony, well, very poor results, followed by Hexaware Technologies with profit taking. But that said, let's bring in our markets editor, get in a perspective. Well, Neeraj, it's been a fairly constructive week, and I'm looking at the names right now and I'm really surprised.
Yeah, so maybe, just maybe, Agam, the texture of the market could be shifting towards the aggressive names and the underperforming names, and therefore the defensives could start taking a bit of a pullback. So HUL, for example, while it may have done okay during the week, it may not have corrected too much, but we've seen some pullback in Thursday and Friday session. It will not feature out there in the top movers and shakers, but it's right up there when it comes to Friday's performers. So maybe, just maybe, I mean, Thursday's action on PSU banks, Friday's action on what's happened, as you said, to the UPL on news, of course, ITC on results, but names which were really compressed have really sprung up. Under-owned names, not too many people own them. UPL, not too many people own. ITC, not too many people own them. So maybe that's the kind of buying that is happening. The advice from the technical experts, as an end of Friday's session, when we have already gained so much for the Nifty, right, 2.5% for the Nifty for the week gone by, they are saying that there is some more upsides out there. And mind you, we're perched at live highs, and it's not that the trade talks between US and China are really smooth.
Right.
As of late Thursday evening, there are some verbal duels that have happened as well. But the momentum is very strong. The earnings are looking fairly robust, but for one or two hiccups, and that too at the mid-cap end of the market, not really in the large-cap end of the market. Right. So, well, the going is hunky-dory right now, and when the tide is going ahead, just ride with it. Don't try and stand against the speeding train. Right.
Well, Neeraj, after a really long time, yesterday's FII figure was over 2,000 crores after a very, very long time.
Yeah. So the DI number 2 matched it. So I don't know if there was some exchange of positions that would have happened. Right. But the key point, you bring it up very aptly, Agam. Accompanying those high flows numbers was a high turnover number as well. Yes. The FNO turnover tends to be highest, but 42,000 crores in the cash market, significant FI buying activity, and barring day before yesterday's negative number of 1,000 crores, right, FIs by and large the last 6 days have been positive. Now, right, let's wait and watch. Hopefully that trend lasts, because the bulls are certainly having the last laugh currently, Agam.
Well, yes, thanks for that, Neeraj.
Just wondering, how's the FNO position looking like, though?
Well, I would say a little concerning, because we're starting to see implied volatility on calls, which is almost half of that of puts. By that, I simply mean that people at this point in time are starting to buy puts, anticipating a little bit of a down move. But I reckon to a certain extent, this will be a part of their hedging strategy. Let's just hope that is a part of their hedging strategy and not a speculative move. But we'll have to wait and watch on how that turns out at this point in time.
Great,
thanks, Neeraj, for joining us and giving us a perspective. But what are the levels that our technical experts are keeping an eye on? This is what they're saying. Let's listen in.
Any short-term pullback near the support, I think, would be an opportunity to enter long positions. And the support for the Nifty on the immediate basis will be 11,150. Anybody who's holding long positions should ideally continue to hold. So I think one can immediately expect the levels of 11,400 to 500, which would be the important breakout levels also for a very high time frame. So I think this is a purely momentum market which has come into a new phase. So the best thing is to maintain your trail stop losses, hold your long positions.
On the numbers, the breakout is there. So you would say that 11,400 thereabouts should be a target going forward for Nifty. So around 11,230, 11,250, 20-30 point decline, that is what turns bullish. So you would be wanting to buy from a trading angle, and then wanting to confirm over the next couple of days that if this breakout is holding.
Well, shifting focus to two key stocks which have actually been very active participants in today's markets. First one is ITC. As you can see, it's contributed substantially to today's up move, and it's also the second highest gainer on a weekly basis on the Nifty. And the reason behind this is ITC's earnings, which we saw come through yesterday. We've had a lot of good gains coming in when it comes to the FMCG segment, specifically when it comes to its EBIT, and that stands at around 50 crores as against 5 crores. More importantly, it signals a return of consistency in its profitability when it comes to this specific segment. And second is a little bit of a surprise when it comes to cigarette volumes. Now, of course, the company doesn't really report cigarette volumes in its press releases. However, analysts estimate that for this quarter, they have actually seen a little bit of an uptick in cigarette volumes as against an expectation of marginal declines coming through. And these are the two key factors that are working in favor of ITC. Thereby, you're seeing that up move in ITC as one of the key movers in today's day of trade. But other than that, we also have the metal space once again in focus, and we have Nikki Mirchandani joining us to give us an idea about what's going on with Hindalco.
So Hindalco and Editor's deal is clearly, which has gone down well for the street and for the stock. We saw a 6% uptick, but then the stock did correct a little bit, or maybe a profit booking happened, which took the stock back to 3%, ended the day higher with 3% odd kind of level. The deal which came through, there were concern on the leverage ratio, and post the deal, the dynamics worked out, the numbers work out to be at 3.3 times, which is pretty much in line with industry standards of an average of 3 times. And further, the management is guided that within 2 years of operation of the combined entity, the leverage will further fall down from 3.3% to 3%, which definitely is comforting for the valuation. The deal is also done at a reasonable valuation of 7.2 times with an EBITDA guidance of a $360 million as compared to an enterprise value of $2,850 million. It turns out to be a reasonable one at 7.2 times EV to EBITDA, which is in line with industry standards. So clearly not weighing down on the balance sheet. It's done at the right price. Geographical synergies are good enough. Product mix is attractive enough for the company. Net brokerages have given a thumbs up to the deal.
Well, thanks for that, Nikki. We'll be watching out for the further developments. Of course, we're also keeping an eye on a lot of the large cap Nifty companies, which will be out with the earnings over the weekend. And that is something that could move the needle for the indices themselves. But that's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned in a Bloomberg Tweet.